Enter the unforgiving wilderness of the Arctic Circle, a domain ruled not by empires, but by blood, instinct, and bone-crushing survival. This is the throne room of the polar bear, a beast forged by frost, sharpened by hunger, and cloaked in nature's most deceptive camouflage, snow-white fur. Ursus maritimus is not just a bear, it is a walking fortress of muscle, a torpedo of lethal intent, an apex predator engineered for domination in the most brutal environment on Earth. We are not discussing an ordinary animal. We are talking about an iceborne juggernaut that has evolved to command the very limits of our planet. What looks like a floating ghost on the ice is, in reality, a deadly ambush expert. Polar bears are tactical predators with an arsenal of survival features that mock the idea of softness. Their fur may shimmer like angel's down, but it hides a beast with skin black as night and intentions just as dark. That dense double-layered coat traps air for insulation, while their monstrous paws, sometimes over 12 inches wide, are natural snowshoes and aquatic paddles. Their sense of smell, mind-blowingly precise. They can detect a seal nearly a mile away under solid ice. That's not instinct. That's Arctic-grade radar locked onto its next target. The diet of a polar bear isn't varied. It's vicious. This bear doesn't nibble on berries. It doesn't snack. It feeds. And when it does, the ice turns red. Seals, especially ringed and bearded varieties, are its primary dish. The method? Wait near breathing holes in the ice, motionless, ghost-like, then explode with 1,000 pounds of kinetic fury when the prey surfaces. One well-placed bite crushes the skull, ending the seal's escape before it even begins. Fat is the target. Energy-rich blubber fuels the bear's metabolic inferno, allowing it to survive long fasts. When food is scarce, a polar bear enters a state of hypermetabolism, burning reserves with terrifying efficiency, losing up to 2 pounds a day. This is not weakness. This is adaptation at its most ruthless. Forget lions, tigers, or wolves. Polar bears are the undisputed champions of hybrid hunting. On land, they stalk. On ice, they wait. In water, they annihilate. With powerful forelimbs and streamlined torsos, these bears swim for hours, covering distances over 60 miles without rest. Their nostrils seal shut. Their eyes stay laser-focused. They glide like torpedoes, silently closing in on unsuspecting prey. This isn't swimming. It's aquatic warfare. In an ocean that can freeze flesh in seconds, polar bears are warm-blooded anomalies, superior to the cold and built to conquer it. Let's talk physics. A fully grown adult male polar bear can weigh between 900 to 1,600 pounds. That's heavier than a grand piano. Yet this beast can sprint up to 25 miles per hour on land and swim at speeds of 6 miles per hour in icy waters. Their claws act like grappling hooks, while their sheer brute strength can flip a seal-filled iceberg like a dinner plate. They don't chase, they crush. Every movement is energy efficient, every motion calculated. This is not brawn without brains. It's intelligent savagery, sculpted by evolution's most extreme pressure cooker. You will never hear a polar bear roar in warning. There's no theatrics, no bluffing, no growling bravado. This is a silent killer. It hunts alone, patrols alone, and rules alone. There is no alpha in a polar bear pack, because there is no pack. Its solitary nature is not a flaw. It's a testament to its supremacy. Unlike wolves or lions, it doesn't need backup. It doesn't need strategy meetings or group tactics. It relies solely on unmatched instincts, unrivaled power, and the ability to outwit and outlast. That's what makes it the true sovereign of the North. Mating in the Arctic isn't romantic. It's brutal, timed, and fiercely competitive. Males fight for females in battles that can leave scars, broken teeth, and fractured bones. After mating, the female doesn't even begin pregnancy immediately. She delays it, waiting for the perfect biological moment. Then, in the isolation of a snow den, she gives birth to 1 or 2 cubs, blind, hairless, vulnerable. For 3 months, she won't eat a single thing. She will live entirely off her fat reserves while feeding her cubs with the world's richest milk, 31% fat, thicker than heavy cream. That's not motherhood. That's biological warfare against starvation. When she finally emerges, she has transformed her body into a weaponized milk machine that raises killers, not cuddly toys. But the king's throne is cracking. Climate change is rewriting the rules of survival. The ice, once a battlefield stained with victory, is now a vanishing floor beneath the bear's feet. Hunting platforms are disappearing. Seal breathing holes are vanishing. Bears are forced to swim longer, fast harder, and risk more for every bite of blubber. Some are even turning to cannibalism, not by choice, but by desperation. This is not weakness. This is the consequence of a world unraveling faster than nature can adapt. As the ice melts, the polar bear is being pushed into uncharted territory, human settlements, raiding garbage dumps, stalking outposts, or wandering into towns. These bears are no longer just Arctic icons. They're becoming reluctant refugees of a changing planet. And make no mistake, these encounters are not harmless curiosities. A starving 1,000-pound apex predator is not a teddy bear. It is a precision-tuned killer, now forced into situations that compromise both its own safety and human lives. The clash is inevitable. The result? Tragic, avoidable, alarming. Strip away the fur, and what remains is a meat-fueled marvel of muscular anatomy. Polar bears are hypercarnivores, meaning over 70% of their diet consists of meat. Their liver contains so much vitamin A it's toxic to humans. Their muscles contain myoglobin levels so high they can dive and swim for extended periods without oxygen depletion. Their kidneys are filtration factories, extracting and recycling water from fat, which allows them to survive without drinking fresh water. They don't drink, they consume. Every inch of their biology screams survivor. Everyone knows the polar bear. It's the poster child of conservation campaigns, soda commercials, and Arctic documentaries. But don't let the cuddly branding fool you. Behind that lovable image is a beast teetering on the edge of extinction. Fewer than 26,000 remain in the wild. Subpopulations are declining. Ice coverage is thinning at catastrophic speeds. Scientists estimate that by 2100, polar bears may vanish entirely from many parts of their range. This isn't just about one species. This is a harbinger of what's coming. An ecosystem collapse, broadcast live through the fate of its fiercest predator. Modern science is on a race against time. Satellite tracking collars, drone footage, and thermal imaging are now the tools deployed to decode the lives of these elusive beasts. Researchers are following their migration patterns, hunting success, and reproductive habits, all to understand how they might survive the next century. The data is raw. The stories are chilling. Bears traveling hundreds of miles just to find a single meal. Mothers losing cubs due to malnutrition. This is no longer research. This is emergency response. Polar bears are magnificent because they are brutal. Their survival is not a fairy tale. It's a war story written in ice and blood. Every twitch of the muscle, every calculated move across the tundra, every fatal lunge into a breathing hole is proof of a species honed to perfection by unrelenting cold and evolutionary fire. They are both terrifying and awe-inspiring. They are nature's way of saying, this is what true mastery of environment looks like. You don't just observe a polar bear, you witness it. This is not just a bear, it is a living relic of the Pleistocene, a carnivorous engineer of chaos and balance, a ruler whose empire is vanishing beneath its feet. Polar bears are not going quietly into extinction. They will fight, adapt, and evolve, but only if we, the so-called stewards of this planet, give them the battlefield they were born to rule. The polar bear is the loudest silent scream of a planet on fire. And unless that message hits hard, fast, and relentlessly, we won't just lose the king of the Arctic. We'll lose the Arctic itself. The Arctic is no place for the weak. It's a frozen war zone, a battlefield painted white by snow but red with blood, where only the strongest survive. And standing atop that kingdom of frost is one undisputed champion, the polar bear. Known scientifically as Ursus maritimus, this is not just a bear, this is the definition of power, a cold-blooded predator born in one of the harshest environments on the planet. Its domain spans across the Arctic Circle, Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Russia, and Norway. But make no mistake, wherever ice flows, this beast prowls. Built like a tank and engineered for maximum carnage, the polar bear reigns supreme. Evolution didn't just sculpt the polar bear, it weaponized it. Towering at over 10 feet tall when standing on its hind legs and weighing as much as 600 pounds, the polar bear is not just big, it's colossal. But size is only part of the equation. Its thick, double-layered fur and a 4-inch layer of blubber beneath black skin turn this beast into an Arctic juggernaut, capable of surviving temperatures that would freeze a human solid in minutes. It's nature's ultimate heat-retaining fortress, impervious to cold, wind, and even icy waters. Its paws are mammoth, each one up to a foot wide, acting like natural snowshoes that distribute weight evenly across ice and prevent it from falling through. These are the pads of a predator, built to cross hundreds of miles of frozen wilderness in search of prey. To the untrained eye, a polar bear might seem like part of the snowdrift. But that's exactly the point. Camouflage is its first weapon. With white fur that mirrors the Arctic terrain and scent glands masked beneath layers of snowproof skin, this beast is an assassin dressed in silence. It can lie motionless for hours near a breathing hole, waiting, calculating, lethal. When the prey surfaces, usually a ringed or bearded seal, the polar bear strikes with the fury of an avalanche. One crushing bite to the head, and the kill is clean, precise, and fatal. This isn't just hunting, it's execution. The polar bear is a hypercarnivore. It doesn't nibble on plants, it doesn't sample berries. It wants meat and it wants fat, high-calorie fuel to drive its massive body. Seals, specifically their thick blubber, are the gold standard of nutrition. A single seal can provide up to 100,000 calories, a precious prize in the Arctic desert. During times of scarcity, polar bears can fast for months, living off stored fat with terrifying efficiency. In extreme cases, some turn to scavenging whale carcasses or even cannibalizing other bears. This isn't desperation, it's adaptation. Brutal, unforgiving, effective. Don't let the name bear fool you. This isn't a landlocked beast. Polar bears are marine mammals, swimmers built for aquatic destruction. With massive front limbs acting like oars and sealed nostrils that prevent drowning, they glide through icy waters with terrifying grace. They can swim over 60 miles without rest, sometimes for days, all while conserving energy and maintaining body heat. Their underwater vision and smell are so acute, they can detect a seal beneath thick layers of snow and ice. Every breath is calculated, every stroke is deadly. These are not swimmers. They're oceanic killers in polar disguise. Strength isn't just a feature of the polar bear, it's a way of life. With the force to drag 1,000-pound seals across the ice and break through 2-inch thick ice sheets, this predator is raw power incarnate. Its jaws can generate over 1,200 psi of crushing force, enough to snap bone like breadsticks. Its claws, 5 per paw, are curved weapons of death used to grip, hold, and dismember prey with surgical precision. No part of this bear is passive. Everything is engineered to dominate, to control, to win. Unlike wolves or lions, polar bears don't form packs. They don't share. They don't delegate. Each bear is a one-animal army, navigating its icy realm with complete authority. It patrols territories that can span thousands of miles, using smell and memory to return to hunting grounds with uncanny precision. Mating is the only time adults come together, and even then, it's temporary. The competition is fierce, with males battling for access to females in brawls that can leave scars and shattered bones. The victor earns the right to reproduce. The loser walks away, if it walks away at all. Female polar bears are warriors in a different sense. After mating in spring, the female delays embryo implantation until she's found enough food to sustain a pregnancy. Then, in winter, she digs a den in the snow, an icy womb where she gives birth to 1 to 3 cubs. She doesn't eat for months. She lives off her fat, burning nearly half her body weight to provide milk richer than any other land mammal, more than 30% fat. When she emerges in spring, she's starved, but her cubs are ready, fluffy, alert, and hungry for survival. She'll protect them with her life, fending off threats with vicious determination. Her only goal, survival of the bloodline. But the world is changing, and fast. Climate change is not some distant threat. It's a bulldozer crashing through the Arctic, melting ice that has stood for millennia. For polar bears, ice isn't just a habitat. It's a hunting platform, a maternity ward, a sanctuary. Without it, seals vanish. Food becomes scarce. Cubs die. Adult bears drown from exhaustion. Some populations have already declined by more than 30% in recent decades. The sea ice now forms later, melts sooner, and shrinks more each year. Without dramatic change, scientists warn 2/3 of polar bears could disappear by 2050. This isn't science fiction. This is fact. And the clock is ticking. With their icy domain collapsing, polar bears are being pushed south, into towns, camps, and oil fields. They raid garbage dumps, they roam into villages, they clash with humans. These encounters are not curious wildlife sightings. They are the desperate actions of starving predators forced into unnatural proximity with civilization. When a bear enters a town, it's not for sport, it's for survival. And when a predator that can kill with one swipe collides with human populations, the results are deadly, for both sides. Let's strip it all back. The fur, the blubber, the cuddly media image. What remains is pure function. Under the fur lies dense, fast-twitch muscle designed for explosive bursts. Beneath the fat are organs tailored to a high-fat, zero-carb diet. The liver processes massive quantities of vitamin A, while the kidneys retain water like a desert camel. The skeleton is thick and impact-resistant. The nervous system is wired for patience, then fury. This isn't just biology, it's a killing blueprint perfected over 600,000 years of Arctic warfare. The fight isn't over. Across the globe, scientists and conservationists are racing to save the species through tracking, legislation, and awareness. Satellite collars beam back real-time data. Drones monitor denning behavior. Policy changes target emissions. But these are battles in a war that's not just about bears. It's about ecosystems, climate stability, and planetary survival. Every lost polar bear isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning. The polar bear isn't just an animal, it's an icon. A reminder that power doesn't mean immunity, that even apex predators are vulnerable in a world on fire. It's a creature of contradictions, beautiful and brutal, dominant yet endangered. And its story is one we write together, through action or inaction, through silence or revolution. If humanity continues its careless trajectory, the polar bear will be the first great predator to fall at the altar of climate collapse. But if we choose to act, to defend the ice, to change our path, then maybe, just maybe, the Arctic King will keep his throne.